All right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and today I don't really have a great deal to say, to be honest, and mostly that's because we put out a video on Sunday examining the closes and it's Monday morning, so not a great deal has changed. But I do want to go over a few charts with you. I've got a little bit of news and some interesting things to show you, so hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. I don't suspect it will take too much of your time. So anyway, hit that like button, sit back, relax, and let's get into this. Did you know camels can swim? I did not know this. I thought they were drowning at first. I was like, I still don't really have the context, but I guess the point is no desert impassable, no ocean unswimmable, and no all-time high unachievable for the camel squad. Bitcoin is going to $100,000 plus. The question is, are you going to be there for the ride? Are you going to be able to ride this thing all the way to six figures? The sad truth is most people are not. Most people have already missed the 40+% move off the bottom, and most people are about to flip bearish or have already flipped bearish before this next 60-day cycle is about to unfold. So I'll show you that in a minute as well. Did you know Indonesia is going to launch a state-backed Bitcoin and crypto exchange by mid-2023? So again, more global adoption, more game theory, all of this unfolding right before our eyes in real time. Bill Miller, holder of Wall Street record of investing, having beaten the S&P 500 for 15 years straight. He's now bullish on Bitcoin. So I'm not going to play the clips, it's 5.5 minutes, but you can go and watch that in your own time if you're interested. Consensus is building, according to Michael Saylor, that everything in the crypto industry other than Bitcoin is a security that is destined to be regulated by the SEC. This makes Bitcoin the only crypto asset suitable for use as global money. So I'm not sure if I agree with this completely, to be honest with you. I certainly believe Bitcoin is the only crypto asset suitable for global money. I certainly believe it's the best form of money on the planet. It's the only secure database on the planet. It's the most ethical form of money on the planet. It's the most inclusive and permissionless form of money on the planet. I certainly believe that. Do I believe everything else in the crypto industry is destined to be regulated by the SEC and ruled as security? I'm not entirely sure about that, to be completely honest with you. I think this is likely going to be FUD, although having said that, I have long suspected that all of the altcoins or most of the altcoins would eventually get taken down and we'd end up with a handful, 10, 20, 50, whatever the number is. But is that going to be a thing that we see unfold? I'm not really convinced by this. I'm open to being proven wrong. For me, it doesn't really matter, especially if you've been watching the channel for a while. You already know this. I'm not on Bitcoin maxi, as in I'm not open to anything else, but I only really care about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the freedom money, right? So if all the altcoins by some chance did become, SEC regulated securities or whatever, it wouldn't really affect me, to be completely honest with you. So anyway, over in Wyoming, they have passed a bill to protect Bitcoin users. This new bill prevents the disclosure of cryptographic private keys. So the legislation states that no person should be compelled to produce a private key or make a private key known to any other person. Certainly a step in the right direction there. Got a really, really nice chart here from Kush. Bitcoin monthly, okay, primary target 157k, secondary 216k, time frame June of this year. So most people think this is absolutely bananas, absolutely impossible, but as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 left to go. This is a monthly chart. So can we put in some enormous rally, some sort of repeat like this? I think it's entirely within the realm of possibility. We've certainly seen things like that from Bitcoin before. Meanwhile, the MVRV score is showing that we have left, backtested, and now resuming up off of this green buy zone. So the bottom for Bitcoin should certainly be in by now, despite not many people wanting to believe that. Speaking of the people and wanting to believe, people expecting higher global inflation is at the lowest level ever. Look at this. So this is possibly a bad sign. This makes me feel a little bit uneasy, to be honest. This makes me think that if everyone is thinking the same, then somebody's not thinking. If everyone thinks that we're done seeing inflation rise, then perhaps we're in for some shock inflation peaks in the future. There's also this increasing narrative, isn't there, of late, that we're going to have rising interest rates for longer. In fact, if I hop into the CME FedWatch tool, markets are currently pricing in 27.7% chance that we're going to see a 50 basis point at the March FOMC. So this continues to increase. This continues to suggest that investors and markets are trying to price higher for longer. And indeed, it looks like the new narrative is higher rates may be here for longer, which is bad for equities, right? But Kushia says no, wrong. Just look at the gains during the rate hikes since 88. And you can see here, 88 to 89, 50%, 233%, 45, 54. However, this time is slightly different. We are currently sat at minus 16%. The unemployment is currently lower versus previous rate hike cycles. But hopping into this chart, you can see here, quite possibly, there is room for this market to run higher. It wouldn't look completely out of place if that was to occur. So study this chart, study it closely, pause your screen here. I'm going to move on. So we got a full back test of the S&P 500, and now it gets interesting. As you can see here, we have tagged the moving average. We have tagged the 2022 bear market trend line in blue. The big question is, can we get a swing out of here? Can we start a new daily cycle? Can this bounce and hold? If so, then where's your bearish argument? Because we've got this inverse head and shoulders. We've also got higher low, and this will be a higher low if it can hold. And it's still an if at this point. We'll also be breaking out of a downtrend and another downtrend in the not too distant future, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 and 50, which would also be recovering the EMA 8. So it could certainly become bearish very quickly. We could certainly lose all of these levels, backtest this line to the underside, and then resume down, and all the bears would be correct. But the bears have been doing this all the way since back here. All the way since back here in October, they were saying, well, we have to go to new lows. And we didn't really. I mean, we wicked, but we didn't really produce significant new lows. We didn't bleed lower and lower like we did here to here to here, did we? This was only a marginal low before this. Then when we came up here and did this, they were saying, oh, here it comes, and it didn't. Then when we got here and broke down, I remember the bears were saying, I told you so. And we just made a higher low and then resolved higher. Then when we got rejected here, the bears said, oh, no, told you so. And then what happened? We broke out. And now here they are again saying, I told you so. Bears have just been on the wrong side since October. These are the facts. These are the facts. So are they about to be proven right? Maybe. But certainly if we can hold this sort of level, this to me is as bullish could possibly be. So here's the dollar. We're looking for a first early warning sign, aren't we? Possible rejection at resistance here. If it can crack through there, then the next possible place of hang up will likely be 107 to 108, where I do expect it to be rejected and then ultimately break down. An early warning sign will come from a break of this upward sloping red support line. So we can break down from there, and that will be our first warning sign to say, oh, maybe this is about to top. Maybe it has topped in this current counter trend bounce within the context of a downtrend. The yields as well, using this red upward sloping support line for the 10-year yield, when we can lose that, if we can lose this upward sloping red support line in the not too distant future, that will be an early warning sign to tell us that risk is going to come on, and it's going to come on strongly. At the moment, the yields are currently pricing in higher for longer. But again, what happens if we get to this FOMC meeting in 2 to 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever it is? When we get there, if we see a 25 basis point hike, what do you think is going to happen to this? Okay, this is going to come tumbling down. Now, of course, I'm not calling for that. I have no idea. But if we do get a 25 basis point hike, expect this to roll over sharply, expect the dollar to roll over sharply, and expect risk to come on massively. So everything is at very critical levels here, but nothing is actually severely damaged as of the time of recording. Bitcoin looks to be working on a breakout of this line, and if that's the case, then we can call this here a day 57 cycle low and look to take this trade higher towards 30k over the next 60-day cycle. So keeping a close eye on that. I have not added, but if we can break out of here on a daily closing basis, then expect me to tell you I've added a position to Bitcoin. I'll also be moving the stop up to at least here. So make sure you come back tomorrow and see how I handle this position. Same is true of Ethereum. I'm not going to go through all of this. MATIC as well, just about clinging on to support, as you can see here. So all the while we're above this, no problem. Looking to potentially get another breakout above this red downward sloping resistance line. So can we do that over the coming days? I would think so, particularly if Bitcoin has just found its cycle low. Natural gas seemingly coming into this red line. So this was my line in the sand. I've been saying for a while, get above that, and I think we can entertain some longs. But for now, we're going to see if we get rejected. So looking for daily closes above that, and then we can entertain some natural gas longs. I think now is possibly a pretty good time to start lining this up for a trade. No changes to the US equities because it is 10 a.m. UK time, so they have not changed since Friday's close. UKX, we took this position off. We did really well at capturing the bulk of this move. So the question is, did I get shaken out? Are we going to have to re-enter on a break back above this red downward sloping resistance line here, this type bull flag-ish type setup? Or is this what I suspect it might be, which is breakdown, retest, resumption lower? Is that what we're going to see? Are we going to get a deeper correction? Quite possibly. If, however, we do just crack straight through this and continue up, then I think what we'd have to do is take this trend line and include this touch here and this wick here. So is that what we're going to see? Potentially we'll be able to add a long back in the coming days. So I'll put this here for now, just to say maybe this is what we're going to end up having, some sort of long that targets the last portion of this range. But there's absolutely nothing to say at the moment that we aren't going to see breakdown, retest and resumption lower. So it's no good jumping in here. Got to keep an eye on this and see how it goes. And it was, of course, important to respect the risk as we had this technical breakdown at close below and then took out that low from Wednesday last week. VIX, is the VIX still coming off? Is the VIX going to compress? Are we going to see an explosion higher? That, of course, remains to be seen. But if you're a bear, we really need to see this start to move up and move up sharply. If this continues to do what I think it might, which is just roll over and compress, then you know what that means for stocks, right? They are going to bounce at their critical levels. So it's way too early to call. It's way too early to be celebrating if you're a bear. It's way too early to be panicking if you're a bull. We have to see how the markets close, see what the week can bring, and most importantly, see if we can add some Bitcoin and crypto related exposure out of this 60-day cycle low. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notifications on if you want to continue to get updates on all of these markets and how I deal with them in real time as a pro swing trader. Thank you for 700 subscribers. I don't know if I'm actually there yet or if I am at 699, but I know I'm really close. So thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you for all the support. Thanks for all the comments and the likes on the video. It really, really helps grow the channel. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well in life. Look after yourselves. Enjoy your week. Take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.